Pre-show. Yeah, it's been a crazy one here too. So not as crazy as some days because we got a dog now.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one here too. So
yeah, I want to talk about that. You got a dog. We got a dog recently. Marty's son looks like he's getting his driver's license. My daughter's getting his driver's license. There's a lot of like dad talk going on.
There's definitely some crazy dad stuff going on now.
Yeah,
kids, in their teens, and my daughter's gonna be a senior in high school this coming fall.
Yeah, we're talking about that as my daughter got married last month. So okay.
Yeah, I know you're
way down there.
We look to you as like, okay, well, how is he getting through this?
Yeah. Yeah, my oldest is entering high school this September.
Yep, same. Yep, Sophie is for sure. Both going to be, or not high school. Sorry, not high school, but that's what I said. Senior. She's gonna be senior years entering high school. Sammy is entering high school.
Okay,
that's what I meant. Yeah, our youngest is still upset from time to time that she would have been. She did graduate the class of 2020, which means she basically didn't go to school the last quarter of the year, which meant no prom, no actually walking down I don't know what they call it, walking up on stage.
Yeah.
For diploma grabbing.
They're gonna make it all up on their 10-year anniversary reunion.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got a 30-year reunion this summer. I probably won't go, but I'm still on the fence.
Wow.
I don't get to hear whether or not we have one, so I don't know if there ever was one or will be one or whatever. So it's not easily accessible where I went to school at. So one of those things. Are we on the air?
We're on the air.
We're on the air. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
All right.
How you doing out there?
Yeah. How are you?
How's it going?
What's going on? I see. Who do I see in the chat today?
Who's out there? Who's out there?
Who's in the chat? Let's talk to them.
Giving us grief for being late.
Who's giving us grief? I will cut them.
Everybody.
Yeah, we're yeah, they've been probably just hanging.
I'll absolutely take the fault for that. If there's anyone that causes us to be late, it is 100% me. So Mecha Dragon. I see Mecha Dragon in the chat. Good day, Mecha Dragon. I see Onyx Music. Hello. I see Caesar 187. Thank you for being here. I see Ebicel. Right on.
With some words.
Ninfrendo. Thank you for being here. Yeah. All right. Hey, nice. Sure look at
our live studio audience, right?
Live studio audience. Cowabunga. All right.
That comes later.
So you want me to open or
you want to? Well, what do you want? Like, listen, I'm all about your professional development in this show.
There's just
like if you're gonna indeed try and take that 7-time Employee of the Year trophy from Jesse Waldack, you've got to step your game up, Timothy Alf. So I'm going to ask you if you want to run show or if you want to just announce and commentary.
I'm gonna let you eat. I'll do the intro and the news there and let you finish eating there, sir, and then you can take over.
That was a massive bite, by the way.
I'll let you take over after your ad break there.
All right.
All right. You ready? Everybody ready?
In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 379, recorded on June 9th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about not E3 stuff, all kinds of it. That's pretty much the bulk of it. So, Jesse, you know what to do. And welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Nintendo Dads. As I said, it's episode 379, June 9th, 2022. Unfortunately, Marty wasn't able to join us today, but he will be back next week, hopefully, if all works out well. But I do have the other two gentlemen here with me. Jesse, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. My daughter lives in Wisconsin, so she had to mail a Father's Day gift to me instead of giving it to me on the day of, and I got it a little early, so she said, "You have to show this on the show." So it's a shirt that says Super Daddy-O, or in like Mario Brothers font.
Nice. I can get parts of it.
Yeah, my background is eating it up, but you gotta get an idea.
Yes, I see it. Super Daddy-O. That's awesome.
So she had that custom made for me.
Now that's a Father's Day gift right there. That's awesome. How about you, Justin? Did you get anything spectacular yet for that Father's Day yet?
You know, I did actually. And hello, gentlemen. Good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. What did about 3 months ago, my wife sent me a text. She's like, go down to Princess Auto and they have stuff to make beef jerky. Like they have the jerky guns and some mix and special racks because we have a smoker and I like smoking meat where I can. And so she's like, go down and buy that. And I bought it. And I was like, awesome. She's like, also, that's your Father's Day gift. You're welcome. So there we go. I already know my Father's Day gift is. So hopefully if the weather's well, do some smoking on Father's Day, which I enjoy. So yeah.
So are you able to send us some of that when you make that? So
I don't know if sending cooked meat across the border, you know, hey, listen, if we indeed do get together, I will bring you some smoked meat from the Great White North. I'm going to be honest, though, it's not going to be as good as the stuff that you can get in Kansas City because I've had some amazing barbecue with Mr. Jesse Waldack. Okay.
Well, if you bring yours and Jesse brings his, we'll have to do a taste test.
I feel like Marty would also be a guy who'd be into smoked meat. Like he lives that life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like making my own beef jerky up here.
So you're making your own. Jesse, do you ever make your own type of meat?
No, I don't have the patience for that.
I don't make it either, but I can find some here in Detroit that's pretty damn good too. So
Ebicel asks, what am I using? Ebicel, I am using a propane smoker that heats up wood chips, right? And that keeps it in a box, in the smoking box. It is not a like barbecue and smoker. It's a separate unit altogether. Actually, if you follow me on Instagram, not a plug for my Instagram account, but you can, you will see that I have some pictures of smoked meat on my Instagram account. And that Instagram account is just Masson23. And actually, let's see if I can, I'm going to listen. I'm going to just pull that open right now.
And thanks for listening to Snack Dads. Another episode of Snack
You know what?
Dads.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm chowing down some dinner right now. And I'm like, now I just want like smoked meat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So
well, if we're talking Snack Dads, so real quick, it's also, I talked about my birthday presents the other day. Part of it was like a heart-shaped box like one would give for Valentine's Day, but inside was meats and cheeses.
Nothing wrong with meats and cheeses.
That's great. That's just great.
Man.
Can't go wrong there.
No, you really can't. I was hoping you would be like, it was an actual human heart. It's kind of where I was hoping that was going to go, but it didn't.
No.
So. It's all right.
Speaking of news, and Jesse gets a human heart for his birthday. No.
He's a real boy.
Let's just go to the news, shall we?
Do it.
And our news is brought to you by our lovely Patreons over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And for $1 a month, you can join us and subscribe to us and keep our lights on and all that kind of stuff for us. And we greatly appreciate it. For $1 a month, $5, $10, or $30.
We got some new patrons.
Yes,
in the last 30 days, Dylan Andrews and Spencer Kitchens has joined us. So thank you both, Dylan and Spencer, for joining us. Welcome. We appreciate you.
It's fantastic. Yes. And I know that sometimes that the systems between Patreon and Twitch do not talk to each other very well for you guys to get into our Discord. But by all means, if you do subscribe to us in either location and you're not getting access to our Discord and want access, you can hit me up in Discord at NeoPrime33. #0033, and I will get you in there.
And that's exactly it, folks. Like, hey, if you don't have any bucks to toss our way, no, not a problem at all. If you've got Amazon Prime, you have got a Twitch sub, and man, we would love to take that Twitch sub from you every single month. Because if not, it ain't going anywhere. It ain't going to anybody. And as a reminder for Twitch as well, you got to resub every single month. It is not an auto resub. So just hit that. Yeah, that absolutely sucks. But hey, if you can't, we'd love it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't do any of that, we just love you being here. We love you promoting the show. We love all that stuff. So come on in, join us.
That's the lovely part about listening to us for free on the podcast, right? So just get to hang out and enjoy us. And we're also on Facebook. You can come chat with us there too. So
yeah.
All right. With that, let's get into the headlines, which the first one here that happened before the Summer Game Fest stuff started kicking off. We got news that iOS 16 will add support for Joy-Cons and Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. What do you guys think of that? I know that Chris HL hit us up with that question in our Discord. It's like, what was up with that? Like, is there something going on there? Or it was actually on Twitter. He hit us up on that. I think it was.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think anything's going on because here's the thing. You're like, oh, the Joy-Cons, also the Pro Controller. Yes. Also, the Xbox controller was able to be Bluetooth before. The PlayStation controller was able to be Bluetooth. I think like everything could.
But what took so long with Nintendo?
Because Nintendo's sometimes stubborn. And they just sometimes are doofuses. And I think that's kind of what happened there. I would love to be like, Apple and Nintendo doing something together. We should talk more about this and like speculate. I just truly believe it's just like
they did once, and you saw how that turned out.
Yeah, once. So I'm like, listen, I don't think it's much, but it's great if you have Apple TV. I have Apple TV. Or actually Apple devices. So I love that. Now I don't need to Bluetooth other stuff. So it's great. I like that. Hey, Jesse, is the Bluetooth stuff between like Xbox controllers and the Switch Pro controllers and Joy-Cons, is it that different that they needed like a separate code? Is it like, I thought Bluetooth is Bluetooth, or am I wrong about how the controllers are built?
I think each controller is built slightly differently. I think most are kind of relatively common, especially Xbox controllers. They built the standards. But there is differences in the PlayStation, and there is differences in Nintendo. That and some systems like Steam's able to detect what type of controller you have and actually switch out the icons to make it match. So if you, like when I'm playing, when I've been playing Final Fantasy with the Luna controller, it knows the Luna buttons and tells me the right button to push. Instead of push select, and I have to figure out what button to select. There is no select button here.
Yeah,
so that's fair. There is some intelligence going on. So and this all started with Apple Arcade. When with Apple TV and iPads primarily because they have the bigger screens. But of course, it's also it works with iPhone just for the same reason.
I do.
It just adds more controllers to what's available.
And that's exactly like I do think I'd love to push in and be like there has to be something from a Nintendo relationship Apple thing. I don't think there is, but I think if you take like 2 steps backwards and look at it from a 30,000 foot business perspective, this is actually kind of a good thing. And before I get to that, I just want to answer the question here. Mecca, you're asking they did when? It's part of the iOS 16 update that's going to occur in September. It was WWDC this last week, and it was revealed during WWDC. So it will not be publicly available for a while. Right, Jesse?
I don't, unless it was announced in one of the not streamed non-keynote events. There are a bunch of events going on all week.
Okay.
My understanding, and I could be wrong, is that one of the developers installed the iOS 16 beta and just saw it as an available option.
Okay. So presumably it will be. But I think this is this to me is just a great example of we talk about again the 30,000 foot view. We talk about getting games in gamers' hands, right? And I think we have what I would call the capital G gamer, right? Which is when people think of like, oh, I'm playing Call of Duty and Fortnite and all like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. But we also know there is that like what I would call the blue ocean strategy of gamer, which is what Nintendo did a while ago, which is what Apple has also been leaning into, which is, hey, you play games on your devices, right? So you're playing Candy Crush, you can consider yourself a gamer. And I think when you begin to reduce some of those stigmas and levels of accessibility, so maybe you have an Apple TV, but you have this Apple Arcade, but you're like, oh, I'm interested in playing a game, but oh, by the way, Apple has an arcade, and oh, by the way, I just need a special controller to play it. Well, no, you don't. You don't need a special controller. You could use a controller that your son or daughter has with their Xbox or their Nintendo, and you could play. And really, again, the idea is if you're in their ecosystem, you're spending money, right? And you're there and you're latched onto it. And that's really what they're doing. And I would make the argument again or earlier today. I don't think this is in our news item because it's not. It's Xbox related. Xbox officially announced that Samsung TVs issued as of 2022 are having cloud gaming, the Xbox cloud gaming established in their launcher, right? In their gaming hub. And again, it's about getting accessibility. It's about getting controllers in the hands of anybody, whether you're a capital G gamer or whether you're just someone who wants to play a little bit of Crossy Roads casually. It's all about that. And more, I mean, you think about it, gaming continues to be in these spaces, right? Luna's got it. Netflix has a gaming section. Apple has the Apple Arcade is baked into your Apple One subscription. Like, there's so many accessibilities for games that, like, if you lower the barrier of entry, people do it more, right? It makes more sense. And so that's really, I mean, so Apple's taking a little bit of the Xbox Anywhere strategy in regards to it. And I do think in some ways Apple and Xbox are kind of actually, they're more comparable in regards to their battling it out, right? They're looking for subscription-based monthly fees for accessibility to services, which is kind of what Xbox is doing, right? And so I think it's very interesting to see it. Like I said, I don't believe it. And so that's my 30,000 foot business perspective. Pushing it into the Nintendo perspective, I think it's just controllers. That's all.
Someone in the chat asked if you'd be able to play the mobile versions of the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters with the controllers, and because of this. And the answer is no, because the game still has to support it. Because like when Marty tried with his
theory, I could be playing
the backbone.
Let your backbone. Remember this episode, folks? Like 5 episodes ago. Let your backbone slide. Maestro Fresh West. We know it's an amazing song. 1998 Canada banger.
Yeah, so the game has to support it. So, but if the game supports any controller, it'll support all controllers the hardware supports. So if they ever update it, then yeah, you can use Joy-Con to play on it. But until they do so, no.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I have an Apple TV box, like the 4K one or whatever it is. I got it from our internet provider for free. Nice. And I have Apple Arcade. Like, I have the subscription model. I just never think to play Apple games on my TV. And yet I know there are amazing games that I should be playing that are out there. I should
usually end up there first before they end up on the Switch.
I know. And I have an Xbox controller, so I know it'll connect to it. Yeah. Like, there's no reason I shouldn't be playing Pathless on my massive TV. What am I doing in my life, guys? I'm really reconsidering my life right now. What am I even doing?
I also have never tried Apple Arcade. I've never signed on.
What is that? Name 3 of them, Justin?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know, Mecca. Are you talking about more Canadian songs? It could be. And yes, Tony Baker, a Canadian banger. Also, by the way, folks, that was a callback from like 5 episodes ago. And if you weren't here for it, you should go back and watch
that. That was probably the last episode I was able to be on too.
That's possible.
I went through, a month of craziness.
I am just as confused now as I was.
Justin, free is never free. Yes, I know that 100%. Thank you, Ninfrendo. You are right. You are 100% right. Free is never free.
All right. So moving on to the biggest news of them all, I guess, would be the Summer Game Fest announcements that happened today. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, were you able to catch up on all that today?
I watched the live. Well, I watched Kind of Funny's reaction to the live stream. So I of the primary show, I did not watch the day of the dev stuff. But I got press releases about it and I see it in our notes. But what about you, Tim? Did you watch it?
I did. I got to watch a lot of it, and actually all of it, including the Devolver part that came later too. So, and the funny part, I was telling Jesse in the pre-show, was the Summer Game Fest I watched in high speed.
Oh, really?
To try to catch up where I was. And Jesse, you did pretty much the same, right? You pause it and catch up. And stuff.
Because it was on while I was still working. I was trying to watch it and taking notes as I'm watching it, and work gets my attention. So I'm pausing the live stream, doing the work, and then coming back to it. At one point, I was over an hour behind. So like when it was doing like the 3 to 5 minute gameplay example, I'm just tapping the right button 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds,
Yeah.
until it shows me the end card that says the date and or systems or some other information that I want for the notes.
And that's why he's the employee of the year, folks, because
100%,
of the
folks.
dedication he
100%.
puts in. Because not only that, he gave us a document with all of the notes, but he also broke it down to what is important to the Nintendo community by weeding out just the Nintendo stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, chat, Twitch chat. Can I get like a applause emote for Jesse Waldack? Can I get one of those going? Can we please? Also, Tim, can we make some kind of like emote for Jesse, like in our Twitch chat, where it's like, I don't know, some like employee of the month, like photo or banner or something? You're
Certainly I'm certain we can work on that. I'm sure.
Okay.
We already had something started, as you probably saw in our.
I did see that. That is class. Absolute class.
Saw that and went, oh no.
That's gonna
tune into our Twitter page, folks, because it's gonna be sent out soon.
I'm sure it's gonna be on a shirt as well at some point. So, anyways, let's go over what is going to end up on the Nintendo Switch that we found from the show. The first thing that comes up is Flashback 2 is going to come to the Nintendo Switch as well as the other consoles in winter of 2022. Was anybody surprised by that news of Flashback 2?
Yeah, because I didn't think anyone knew what this game was. This is back. It was the original Flashback was known on the Super Nintendo and other North American releases as Out of This World. But it was kind of like pseudo vector 3 polygon graphics. It's hard to explain, but the animation was rotoscoped, so it was really nice and smooth. But
nice.
And hard as hell. I don't think I got past 10 minutes into the game.
I never got to play the first one, but it was pretty cool to see that they're working on a sequel after all, what they say, 30 years.
Yeah, Mecca says, is this the one with the killer gorilla? I think it is, yes.
And then the next one that was mentioned was the Cuphead Delicious Last Course DLC, which we all knew about was coming June 30th.
So I had in my notes that it was releasing on the 20th. So either I was wrong or they delayed it 10 days. I don't know which one.
I had down the 30th as well. That was because that one interested me, so I remembered that one.
Okay. So I must have put it in my notes wrong back when we were told about the DLC in the first place last year.
Yeah. Looks good though. I'm excited to get back into it. I both loved and hated Cuphead all in the same sentence. That is such a punishing game.
Yeah.
But love the art style, man. I love the art style. I love the authenticity they have to that kind of that look and everything around it. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm excited that it is finally coming out and all that kind of stuff. Will I give it a go again? I'm not sure, because like you said, it was punishing, but love looking at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where I just have to be in the right mindset and mood for that game too. So I have it, and we'll probably get the DLC and just we'll set it aside for when I'm ready to focus on something like that.
Hey folks, we have got a hype train going on right now in our Twitch chat. Our hype train is close. Sub, gift, or use bits right now to start a hype train. We got less than 4 minutes. Let's go.
I've never seen that go on our show before. What the hell happened?
Hype train, sweet.
I don't know, but let's give it a shot. I love it. I love the energy.
Awesome. What else? What do you have to do to get subs? And that's right. So you got to do all that kind of fun stuff. Cool. And we got 12 people in the
thank you for being here,
Twitch.
Folks.
So
yeah,
and thanks for everybody who's watching on YouTube too. How y'all doing over there? That's awesome. So we don't want to forget about them over there, because we don't.
They're real people.
So all right. So next up on the list is Neon White, which is another game we all knew about coming to the Switch. We learned about it at a indie showcase, I believe.
Yeah.
And we got a date for June 16th, which we saw a lot of rumors about.
Yeah. This was, oh my God, the internet this week. You're all listen, internet. Let's look at me. Here. Listen. All right. You're all so thirsty for a Nintendo Direct. All right. You're so thirsty for a Nintendo Direct that you're not thinking. Because if you reached out to the Nintendo dads and asked, what is going on with this thing? What is this rumor? What do you think? I would tell you that the information that was leaked, the embargo information for Neon White that we saw is similar to every single press release we officially get regarding embargoed information. So that did not, in my mind, at all solidify that we were getting a Nintendo Direct. It only solidified that Neon White was coming out that day, and that's when the embargo dropped. We're all so thirsty. You weren't asking the questions, you were all looking, but you weren't asking the questions. But yeah, Neon White's coming out. Pre-order is available right now. So you can do that. Yeah. So I'm sorry, just giving you some honest chat.
That makes sense. I mean,
wow. Thank you so much for the love there, Tony. Right. Oh man, that's fantastic. And thank you very much, Mecca. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, so we got the hype train up to level 5, it looks like. So that's pretty cool to see. But also Ninfrendo is saying, I don't get Neon White. He doesn't get that one. That one looked pretty interesting to me because it's using some different mechanics for a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Which is it's using cards. So depending on the card you draw is the type of weapon you get, rather than just pulling out the weapon or collecting the weapon. You're drawing a card that dictates your weapon. And that's what you use in first person to kill the demons that you're trying to expel from heaven. Because you were demons. If I understood correctly, your demons pulled from hell by God himself to take care of his dirty work for him up in heaven. So
that old chestnut
that I forget which book in the Bible that was, but anyways, good times. No, actually, that one really interests me.
The Neon book.
Yeah, the Neon, the Book of Neon. That's correct. So, but I think it looks pretty cool, and I like the concept and all that kind of stuff. And I hope there isn't a demo for it, right? Or was there one that was dropped?
There was one. Actually, it's funny. There was a demo for it on Steam back in February.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably picking this one up. So if you are unsure about it, of course, Ninfrendo, not every game has to be for you. But if you want to take a first look at it, we'll have a first look when it comes on our channel. We may, when the embargo drops on September 16th, we will have some coverage, I'm sure.
Yes.
Seth is super pumped for this one. Seth is
yes, I remember that. All in podcast, he talks about that a lot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on, we got Midnight Fight Express, also coming to Nintendo Switch. This one has a demo available now on Steam as well. Comes out October 23rd, as well as comes out on PlayStation. Thank you, August 23rd. It comes out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Game Pass, PC via Steam. This one intrigued me as well because of what it was talking about. Being,
I didn't like how Keeley introduced this one. I think this is the one. He said there's a father in some country worked on this by himself, and then he brought people in the last year. I'm like, well, then he didn't do it by himself, did he?
So, but it was cool because of it being an action RPG, if I remember correctly. It was, but fast paced, they were saying, and from the visuals and stuff, this one definitely intrigues me, and I was happy to see that it's coming to the Switch.
Yeah. This one, when I saw it, I thought it looked really cool. We got a press release for it actually pretty quickly afterwards, and it was definitely one of those ones I was like, oh, yep, flagging that one. That looks pretty awesome.
Yes, we would happy to share that with our community.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and another one that dropped that we all were looking forward to, I think,
which leaked earlier that day as well.
Yeah, two stupid leaks. Anyways, TMNT Shredder's Revenge gets drops on June 16th.
I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago as a rumor when Sony might have leaked it.
Yes. Yeah, being in the store. But they also showed off Casey Jones being a playable character, and it has a 6-player mode, local and online, coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Game Pass, PC via Steam. So all good places to see this game, and I know
So
a lot
pumped
of
to
us
play
in the
this.
community is looking forward to this, especially seeing that there's a 6-player mode online.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Darn well there's gonna be a lot of
Pre-order for this isn't available right now on the shop, is it? Like, this is one that I'm like, I know I'm getting it. Like,
if not right now, very shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll see the pre-orders drop for that.
I wonder if there's cross-platform.
That would be.
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Obviously, I was on the fence of this, is because like most fighting games that look interesting, I buy it and I go, wow, this is hard, and I don't get past the second level. So at least I can play it on Game Pass and not feel as bad.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like there is a digital pre-order up.
Really? Okay.
And it's a 10% discount. So instead of $24.99, it's down to $22.49.
Really?
At least US dollars. So it'll be like
that's not real money. Yeah, I hate you so much. So hold on. Okay. So we're about to get out into the day of the devs. There's another thing I want to call out here.
Okay, go for it, sir.
To make people aware of. Marvel's, is it Midnight Sun? Sun? That we had seen the game for before. I was watching and I was like, oh, we've seen this before. I'm not super interested in it. They show the flash screen at the end. And ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know what icon was missing from the platforms that it was coming to? The Nintendo Switch. So I sent out a tweet. Hey, this is weird because I'm pretty sure this was announced for Nintendo last year or whatever it was. They have replied back and said it is still on track to be on the Nintendo Switch. However, it will be delayed. They will be delaying the release of it on Nintendo Switch. But it will be released on all the other platforms.
That means they probably outsourced it to another company.
That means they're outsourcing it, and this means it's dead on arrival for the Nintendo Switch, most likely.
Right.
That means, they didn't. Yeah, that's one of those games that they're not designing it for the Switch first and then bring it to the other consoles and up-resing it or anything like that. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I was excited about it coming to the Switch and possibly playing it there, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens along the way here. That's unfortunate. And the reason why it's not on our Nintendo games list here, because if it
I don't think I knew it was announced for Switch
previously.
On. Yeah.
So those were the games that I mentioned in the Summer Game Fest section of that presentation that are coming to the Switch. The next section was the Day of the Devs announcements, and these are the games that will be coming to the Switch as well. And the first one up is Time Flies for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and PC, and comes in 2023. Gentlemen, did you see this? I know, Justin, I think you said you didn't see the Day of the Devs stuff. Jesse, what did you think of this one?
I don't know. That looked weird.
I liked it. This is on my list of games that intrigued me. And I liked the idea of this is different. You get to be a fly. You get to pick where that fly comes from.
It looked like a game that could go on the play date.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, why isn't this on the play date too? Yeah, maybe just use the winder to move the fly around. But basically, you're a fly that lives for however many seconds, depending on where that fly is from. And you have...
they pretty much take the life expectancy of a human in that country and convert it from years to seconds for the fly.
And basically you have to try to accomplish things that are on a task list as your bucket list, basically, as a fly. And then it was funny because it's like the fly, they would show the fly flying around and you get caught in fly paper and you're dead. So that was the end of your time, and then you'd have to start over. Just so intriguing, so different, and it had me cracking up. That I'm like, I'm so looking forward to trying this game out. So on the next one, it was A Little to the Left. that is
Again,
coming to the Nintendo Switch.
on
and
most
PC.
of these, when they did the deep dive, most of the time I skipped them just to speed things along for notes. So
Yes.
but I didn't see all of Time Flies, but I did, see in fast forwarding it. Oh, the checklist, and you strip a guitar to cross something off. You collect
Yes.
a coin to cross something off.
That's
Things
the
like that.
bucket list. Yeah.
Yeah, and
For sure.
so a little to the left, I think, is like the one game of from all day that I think I'm interested in.
Out of all the games shown, you're like, this is the one.
Yes.
So why is this the one? What's this one about?
So this is the one where it's kind of like organize the room type of game. So you have like a room where you go to a section of the room and there's like a little puzzle where you have to the solution is organizing it in some specific way. And sometimes there's more than one ways to solve it, as I said. So
Yes.
like if it has a series of keys, put them in an ascending order of size. There was some like vases that curved differently, and the curves kind of fit like jigsaw puzzles. So a part that jets out of one would go into a slot in another, so they are all chained together into a meaningful way.
But it's not all just solving puzzles. What happens sometimes to those puzzles if you start one?
Oh, the developer's cat decides to wreck house.
Yes, that's my favorite part of it. That I was like, okay, now I'm interested because there's
That's
a
the
cat
part
that
that's
comes
probably
in
really going to upset me.
and it's gonna mess everything up. It was hilarious. I started laughing when I saw that. It's like you're working on these puzzles, and all of a sudden this cat comes in. You see this paw coming on the screen, just start messing things up, or their tail swishing back and forth, messing things up.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
It sounds like a nice, relaxing, calm game, and then
Until the cat comes
shows
in.
up.
So yeah, again, a little to the left. It comes out.
I assume that was just that's such a weird game, but I mean that's just the answer I provide every time someone asks how it's hanging.
There you go. A little to the left.
To the left. It's hanging a little to the left.
Coming out in 2022, just to get that out there. So the next one that we saw, I believe in the indie showcase, is Bear and Breakfast.
We've known about this game for 2 years, and we finally have a release date.
It's coming out July 28th for Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam. This one looks intriguing as well, and I wrote this one down for possible one for my wife to check out as well, because it sounds like it's right up her alley. But basically, you're a bear running a bed and breakfast in I guess maybe a state forest, national forest, or whatever, and you find these rundown cabins. Woods. Yeah, and you convert them so that you can host people in the bread and breakfast as a bear. You're a bear doing this, so very intriguing. So, anybody interested in this one here?
I'm not.
No.
Okay. Moving on.
Literally, a little to the left.
I know that's right. A little to the left was the only one that's right.
So,
all right. So another one that came up, but let's see, Desta, the memories between. Jesse, you wrote down no consoles were stated, but a Nintendo Switch was shown. So we assume that one's coming to Nintendo Switch since they were playing this game.
Right. And there was no dates mentioned either.
Right. And this one, I don't know. I must have missed it with working on something, but what is this one? Desta, the memories between. Do you happen to know?
I honestly don't remember.
that one must have been real quick because it slipped by me as well.
Yeah. Most of the conversation was with the developers, and they were switching back and forth between playing on a Switch or playing on a tablet, and while the developers talked. So again, since I was fast forwarding through the meat of the presentation to get to the end of each segment to write notes,
I think actually now I'm thinking of it, I think I remember this one, and it was just the way it looked didn't grab me as well. Maybe that's why I don't remember.
And Friendo says much Amico exclusive.
And then the last one that's coming up here and also launched on Kickstarter at that moment they mentioned it was Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland. It's coming to Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam and itch.io at the end of 2023. Again, launched on Kickstarter at that time.
I absolutely loved Little Nemo. on the NES. I played that game. I remember that game. I loved that game. If Nintendo was like coming to the NES, Nintendo Switch Online is Little Nemo, I would blow a gasket. I absolutely I have so many fond memories of Little Nemo.
Nice.
I had that game. Yeah.
You'll have to check this one out when you get a chance to see what it looks like, and see if it piques your interest.
It's a 3-week campaign that already their goal is $65,000, and they already have 360 backers, totaling almost 20,000. So they're like a third of the way there already.
Gentlemen, I'm using the rest of our Nintendo Dads Patreon money, and I'm funding it right now.
Okay, that's have fun with that. As long as you can get Nintendo Dads in the credits, that works. So,
there you go.
All right, that is the part of the Day of the Devs announcements that included Nintendo Switch content. Moving on to Devolver's marketing countdown.
There's another game, because again, I watched the Devolver section like 20 minutes before we started show prepping. So yeah, there is a game here I'm interested in as well.
Okay, so there's a second game. All right, so Devolver's marketing countdown to marketing, which I watched the whole thing, was freaking hilarious. If anything, like we were talking about in pre-show, there was maybe a handful of games announced during that whole thing, but it was like watching an episode of something. So it was hilarious. And Suda51 was there. Mecha Suda51 was in there. So that was pretty funny.
Is that who that was? I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, it was Mecha Suda51. And yeah,
Harry Gray will never forget Suda51.
That is true.
That is true. Very true. I think this is actually the first game that showed up in their show. Cult of the Lamb, which we already knew about, is dropping on August 11th for the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Series X and S. We've seen a lot of this game, I think, a lot already. Any of you guys interested in this one?
Faintly, like ish. Ish is pretty weird. Loose.
It looked like it was kind of like it'd be an Animal Crossing, like a pixel art Animal Crossing, and then like they open a portal into hell, and now they're fighting demons like a Diablo game. Like, what the hell is this?
What the funny part is that it looks like Animal Crossing, but then it's like you got all these animals following you because you're the cult. So and they're worshiping you. They're worshiping you, and then you're having to fight all these other demons, if you will.
Yeah,
it's very unique Devolver game, of course. So I mean, I know they didn't develop it. I think they're just pushing it, but publishing it. But yep, coming August 11th. Another one we knew about was Card Shark, which was released last week. It also has a demo. They announced that as well. Again, it's on the Nintendo Switch and PC. And then finally, the Plucky Squire coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S and PC.
I scrolled through the notes really quickly, and I read it as the Plucky Squirrel, which I was like, interestingly enough, I was like, tell me more. I want to know more about a Plucky Squirrel. Now it's a Plucky Squire. I am not as interested as I was before.
And I knew you would say that because this is the game I'm interested in.
That sounds about right.
Nope. Totally opposite. So makes sense. Why are you interested in, Jesse?
Well, it kind of looks like, it starts off looking like a 2D Zelda clone, but it's played within the confines of a book. And then you get to the end of the book, and he literally jumps out into the real world and plays as a 3D game now. So, and then when it went back and forth, the different shots, it kind of does like what Mario Odyssey did. It's like sometimes you go into like a cup and play some 2D sections while you're in the cup, go around to the other side, and then come out again. So like Odyssey did that with merging 3D with 2D a lot.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nintendo asks, is it a Guitar Hero game? No, not that type of Plucky.
So if you didn't watch the Devolver show, even if you're not interested in any of the games, I think I would say go watch it because it's pretty hilarious. And especially when it gets towards the what they call it, the video game singularity. Thank you. Where it's coming and taking over the gaming world and mixing and mashing all these different games, such as Tom Clancy's Animal Crossing was one.
Oh my
One of the guys was wearing a t-shirt for that. I have to go back and watch it again just to catch all of the mixed and matched references that they made.
They missed the Doom Animal Crossing combo. That would have been
too easy, probably.
Yeah, but
and one of the
people would be talking about it more if they did it.
True. Well, one of the things that I was cracking up about their comment was, and Microsoft bought Bethesda again, just for the fun of it. So there's a lot of funny references in there. Again, it was a good time. So, but not one to watch with the kids. Again, it's Devolver.
Definitely not.
Lots of language, and of course their games have a lot of violence in it. So something to watch, after the kids are in bed.
And I would say, as you think of it, like there are a ton of other directs or presentations occurring over the next several days. Guerrilla Collective has one. I keep an eye on that one. That's typically a really good one where we're going to see some games that come out of that. They typically have a pretty good indie scene for Nintendo. Wholesome games.
I don't have everything in my calendar, but tomorrow there's a Netflix Geeked Week and a Tribeca game showcase.
Mm-hmm. And then what's Saturday, Jesse?
Saturday's Future Game Show and the Guerrilla Collective. I have it spelt wrong in my calendar. I should probably fix that. Then Sunday is Xbox and a PC gaming show. Yes. And there's other things too that
I think there's the wholesome game showcase as well. I think
I'm looking at the Summer Game Fest ones, and they
Monday
don't have
there's a Capcom showcase.
Oh yeah, Capcom. Yeah.
There's the other one. What's that other publisher that starts with an A?
Annapurna.
Yes, it's coming up.
Really?
As well, they announced that they're doing one as well. I think it was at the end of. I think they announced it at the end of the Summer Game Fest. They were doing theirs. So, yeah. I think that's in July. Maybe that's why I don't see it, because I only see June here. So anyways, but that is what we all saw at the Summer Game Fest, including the Day of the Devs and the Devolver Marketing Countdown to Marketing. If there's anything you saw, we're talking about it in Discord. Come join us there. We'll talk about it some more. Or on Twitter, share with the Nintendo dads what you are looking forward to coming to the Switch, or even on another system, because we have all of us talking about the different systems, PlayStation game, via Game Pass on the Xbox, all that kind of stuff. So hit us up wherever you can. We'd love to talk about it some more. Moving on, we've got the another big news that happened this week is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition pre-orders dropped online, and everybody got theirs, right? Right? Everybody got theirs? No.
I'm so frustrated.
Yes, I am
it's like
too.
Nintendo doesn't know how to online or something.
It looked like they were trying to do something different to help combat scalpers, which was they have a new storefront and all that kind of stuff where you can come in, you can only order 2, all that fun stuff, but you couldn't order any. Nobody could order any. And just a lot of people caught in a loop, up and down all day with messages from Nintendo on their Twitter page and on the page itself. And in our community, a lot of people, we were all talking in a Discord again, keeping tabs with each other. Hey, were you able to get it? No, I wasn't. This is what I'm seeing. This is what you're seeing. So we were all complaining about it together and being angry about it together.
I thought you had gotten one.
Nope. I was in line just like everybody else and trying to get 2. And when you asked, was I getting one for me? Yes, I was getting one for me, but also getting one for what you wanted, Justin. So
Mm-hmm.
But Nintendo, it was not successful in selling any. They said they would let us know via Twitter in their messaging that they will let us know on another date when it's going to go up for sale. So, but on the little silver lining, I guess I'll give for it is that John, who's in the Dads After Dark show, also said this, and I agreed with him, was that if this happens now and they fix it and they can get it right, this will be a great system to start with. Not the best, but it would be a great or better way of selling their things online, because it will be a system where, you're limited. You can only get 2. I know there's a lot of workarounds and stuff like that, but hopefully they can figure things out and make it better for the consumer. And maybe this is something they can figure out before, say, the Switch 2 comes out and they decide to sell it via their website, So we'll see how it goes. Being that it's a new system, I'm giving them a little bit of a pass. If it was under their old system and it was doing this, I would probably be a lot more angrier. But being that it's a new system, like I said, I'm giving it a pass.
Gonna let it slide, eh?
Let it slide and look for improvements. Hopefully they'll figure it out. And then
hopefully.
All right. Up gaming releases that are coming up. We got Redout 2 coming June 16th. I'm excited and looking forward to checking that one out. That's the game that kind of reminds me of Wipeout or Fast RMX, I think was another game that we got on the Switch like that. And a lot of fans were calling for the developers of Fast RMX and or Redout to work on the next F-Zero. So because of how well and how fast those games go. So I'm looking forward to that. Are any of you guys looking forward to that? I know I'm more the racer here. So
not my jam. Not my jam.
Nor mine. We agree on something, Justin.
Right? Very rare, but we'll take it.
Next up on the releases is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. There's a demo available and releases June 24th with digital pre-order available now. I downloaded the demo, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. How about you guys?
I have not. I heard you can play like the first 4 chapters and progression continues into the retail game.
Nice.
There is nothing.
I don't know for sure. That's
what you were told. There is nothing about that game that interests me in any ways. It's a Muso game and it's Fire Emblem, right? You may as well also put Pokemon in there because I got zero interest in that.
Oh, I thought that was all you, Justin.
I would play a Pokemon Muso game.
Yeah, let me tell you who's not reviewing that game for our site. This guy.
All right. Moving on. NSO game trial for Stardew Valley from June 13th through June 19th. Everywhere but here in the United States. So Europe, Australia, and Japan regions get this, but not in the United States. Probably because it's sold well here. So they probably don't need to do it here. And then finally, Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince. August 16th is when that drops.
Was this a game that we knew about before?
I don't think so, but we
knew about Blossom Tales 2, but we didn't know.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't announced yet. I don't know if it was a rumor yet or not, but it was mentioned somewhere.
Okay, because I've never heard of it until it was part of
Limited Run did it.
Limited Run, talked about it.
I think it came up somewhere. I want to say it came up somewhere else.
I think Blanco said the same thing. It's something that he knew about. Okay, I didn't know about it. It wasn't in my notes.
But I just can't remember if it was something legit or just a rumor. So,
I still don't. Nope, I did add it to. I did add it into the release game list.
All right. Well, that's the news.
Right next to Cult of the Lamb.
Let's move on to our ad break from our sponsor.
Hey, folks, big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support. Now, gentlemen, Father's Day is just around the corner. We talked about that earlier in today's episode. I got some beef jerky. I got some smoked meat. I love it. Jesse got this incredible sweater. All amazing, fantastic Father's Day Day gifts. But our good friends over at Manscaped are here to ensure that all the father figures are out there are looking daddy good. You know what I'm saying? Looking fresh, looking good. And Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, which includes their signature lawnmower 4.0, is a perfect bundle to tackle any and all those weird old man hairs. I don't know about you. I'm starting to get old weird hairs up in the ears and the nose. I gotta trim a lot more than I used to.
This is all from my ear right now.
Yeah, just one big ear hair. I love it. So hey, folks, make sure you treat the dad in your life, or maybe it's a new dad, maybe it's a soon-to-be dad, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your brother-in-law, maybe it's a best friend. Man, just treat these people right? And so I think Manscaped is a fantastic Father's Day gift. And of course, if you're getting Manscaped, you've got to be using our code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. All the Nintendo dads, plus our good friends over at Dads After Dark, use Manscaped products, and we absolutely love them. Again, that code is NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Now, ladies and gentlemen, not only have the fantastic folks over at Manscaped been supporting this show, but today, ladies and gentlemen, it is Gooder. And Gooder Gaming, which are these glasses that I'm wearing right here, we have partnered up with Gooder, continue to partner with them. And Gooder really thinks that gaming is fun, and your gear should absolutely be that too. Gooder makes fun, fashionable, and functional sunglasses that everyone can afford. Sunglasses for gamers. Why? Because gamers, of course, we go outside too. Now, not only, of course, they have these amazing sunglasses, just like the one that Tim's wearing, just like the ones, if you see me wearing them, I wear my Gooder sunglasses all the time. They have these fantastic glasses. These are the ones I'm wearing right here. These are the Blue Mirage glasses, because apparently, doctors, now I'm not a doctor, but doctors say sitting in front of screens, the blue light is bad for you. It creates eye strain, fatigue, headaches, and tail growth. All right, so think about that one. Now, just to be sure that you don't have that eye strain, fatigue, or tail growth, I highly recommend that you head over to Gooder.
Plucky Squirrel.
Could be. Head over to Gooder and make sure you pick up these glasses, these Blue Mirage glasses. Folks, we absolutely love Gooder glasses here. Again, they're now you're over on the site, whether it's their sunnies, whether it's their gaming glasses. And I kid you not, every single week I get stopped at work. I work virtually, and people are like, those are amazing glasses. I'm like, yes, they are. They're Gooder. You should be wearing them as well. You should be trying them out. So use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, at checkout for 15% off at gooder.com. Get yourself some good, fun, functional glasses, both sunglasses and gaming glasses, before the season starts. I absolutely adore them. We love them here at Nintendo Dads, and you will too. I absolutely know you'll love them too. Hey, back to you, Tim.
Thank you, sir. I'm actually going to wear my sunglasses, I think, for the rest of the show, because they're very comfortable.
Sunglasses at night because he's something. Yeah.
Anyways, let's discuss.
Let's do it.
I don't think we have any risk of copyright strikes from that song. Thanks.
What about Maestro Fresh West, Let Your Backbone Slide? Did we get any copyright strikes for that?
I don't think we did. And
Can I request that as our exit music today, sir? Yeah, don't make me take away the Employee of the Month, the Employee of the Year trophy. Don't make me do it.
Yeah. Anyways,
DM me the name of that song, and I'll see what I can do.
E3 will be back in 2023. Do you guys trust them? Do you guys think this is coming back in 2023?
Well, of course, the EA's sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it does, will it come back as we know it today?
I don't know. I want it to come back. You know, I was planning, if they had it this year, I would have wanted to have gone. But at this point, I'm like, it's in the I'll believe it when I see it department.
I think the tough part is, what do game companies get out of it anymore? Because they have gone now 3 years with digital accessibility, right? Xbox actually talked about creating demos, playable demos similar to what we used to play on game floors, or vertical slice of games that they could push out on Game Pass as part of the E3 experience. I think game companies are understanding their savings. I think they're understanding their impact, their reach, right? They all are doing these direct approaches now. I think E3 themselves, ESA would want to come back and say that we're back. I think the challenge a little bit is that Jeff Keighley is pushing into the space with his Summer Game Fest. It's not as crisp and as clean, and I do believe that like people coming together, shaking hands, kissing babies in the same space is an absolute value. And I think I love gaming conferences. I've been to so many of them, and they're just amazing experiences that are just like crazy. And E3 and like PAX East and PAX West are part of my bucket list. But I think it's going to be challenging for the organization to kind of like restart it, reset it up the way they need to really make it a really big reason to be there, both for participants and for vendors, and also for audience to be there.
Even before 2020, say looking at 2018, 2019, Microsoft wasn't on the show floor. They were in a building across the street, and Sony was a no-show altogether. Mm-hmm. So do they come back? Are they still AWOL? Does it matter? I think to most people who, like if you look at today's news, most of it was not Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I think that's a factor of most people are not getting their news from E3 related content anymore, even before the pandemic.
Yeah, and again, I think organizations understand the impact of their reach, and if they don't have the impact that they can slot themselves in with another platform, right, or another, again, Jeff stuff, and I don't know how much Jeff is charging, so maybe not the Summer Game Fest stuff. Also, we're on such a good basis, I just call him Jeff, not Mr. Keeley. But also like any of these other things like Guerrilla Collective having their own indie.
I just referred to him as GK
events.
The other day.
GK, yeah, for sure. So I think like it's a challenge, I think, right? I think it's a real struggle. And I think the other part of it, which I mean, we're going to talk about our Nintendo Direct predictions here in a little bit, but I think the other part of it, especially with like this last week of like these conferences, and I wonder one of the reasons why we're like, why isn't Nintendo saying anything? Why isn't Nintendo saying anything? Why isn't Nintendo saying anything? When you were part of E3, you had to go when everyone else was going. You're part of that functional event, right? You were part of the track. Well, when the track no longer exists, you can go whenever you want. So is Nintendo being like, you know what, y'all, you take your time. You do your announcements. You say what you want to say, so that next week, when there is no one left, we're going to come on board and we're going to reveal what we have. We're not going to get caught up in all the noise cycle with everybody else's presentations. We're going to take our own full PR beat and not have the risk of our messaging being missed in any other way. Because when you're in E3 in that kind of that 5-day period, you're competing against everybody. Why? I don't have to, right? Nothing is compelling me to be there anymore. So I can take my beat wherever I want to. And I think that when an organization understands the power of their own brand, much like Nintendo, Sony, and I think to your point earlier, Jesse, Xbox, they don't need to do that. But I think we as an audience are like, no, we need Nintendo, Sony, and PlayStation, Xbox to be there. What's going on? They're not there. And I think it's going to have a hard time. I hope it doesn't. I hope it comes back well. I hope it's a thriving conference. I think more exposure to games, more people coming together, more events, these things that we get excited about, I think is great. But I think it's going to have a hard time kind of like bringing the defibrillator back to that thing and trying to get it going. And then I think the reality is they're going to be competing. They were already competing last year with Jeff's Summer Game Fest, right? This year, no one's there. There's a vacancy or vacuum. Jeff has filled that spot instantly, right? He's like, I'm here, guys. I've got it. Come to me, right? Now, like E3's like, well, we kind of want our spot back, Jeff, right? No, you left. This is my seat now, right? This is my place. So it's a conflict, and I think that's going to be challenging for us to for folks to deal with.
And that's where interesting. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's where I think that E3, if we have no idea what they're going to do, obviously, but what we do know is from our perspective, they need to come in and they need to do things right and get everything back on track. And if they're going to do that, they're probably going to have to come in and change things up, make it different, make it intriguing for those other companies to make sure that, hey, yes, we will plan things out for you. You tell us, here's the window. Where do you want to fit in on that window? They'll do the usual thing like they've done where they've planned it out for everybody. But now it's like, okay, now we need to take it up a step further. We need to do it differently from what we've done in years past, because obviously people they're starting to gravitate to the Summer Game Fest or the IGN Game Fest or whatever they call their stuff. They're going to have to do something different. Maybe they look at something like the Comic-Cons or the auto shows, like I've mentioned, and see how well they're doing there. Maybe even going back to the Comic-Con idea. That's grown so much because they cater to the fans, and there's people there. There's the movie studios, the toy makers, comic books, collectibles that feed into the audiences. And so if done right, I think the gaming industry can do the same thing, where you've got people who do some of the same things that they can do at Comic-Con, such as cosplay. You can have things around that. You got your gaming stuff that goes on that you can build on. You already had a big influx of people who want to go to the show that aren't journalists. Mm-hmm. So maybe they pivot. And I know you got PAX and all that kind of stuff that caters towards the fans as well already, and that's towards indie stuff. But I think if done right, I think E3 can come back in a big way. And even though I don't know everything that goes on into planning that kind of stuff, I think when I look at things that I am familiar with, like the auto show, I think that could be E3 can be the big show that shows off all the big stuff. And then you have the other shows that show the smaller things, which we've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. And if done right, I think it can be done well. And even have Jeff Keighley and Summer Game Fest on board and part of it, if that's done right as well.
Yeah, I think it's challenging, right? Because I think that when you're doing, first, like Jeff separated from ESA a couple of years ago, which is one of the reasons why he's able to do this like Game Fest thing. He's like, no, that's what we're doing now. He departed from them. But then I think like the more, what you need one central, I don't know, what's the word, like band leader, right? You need that one person who's like, no, this is a thing. And Jeff has filled that space. And I think, I don't know if, like, when companies are like, well, where should we put our stuff? Should we put it in the E3 presentation? Should we give it to Jeff? Should we do our own thing? Like, you just need one voice. You need one thing. And that's what E3 was. It was the guardrails that allowed for those one things to happen. And I think now that it's removed, it's tough to put it back, right? When they've experienced a level of freedom that they've had. I don't know. I think the genie's out of the box. And I also think that people are like, oh, we could do this on our own. This is interesting, right? We could save money. This is interesting.
I don't think ESA is going to be able to say, hey, give us $400 and we'll plan your thing or whatever the amount was, to do it. I think that's for sure gone. But I think there are other ways for ESA to gain money. Looking again at the Comic-Con, I don't know what all that is there, but yeah, Comic-Con's successful. I think gaming industry can be maybe not as big as that because of the movie industry and all that kind of stuff being involved there. But I think it can still follow some of the same models that are used there for Comic-Con.
I would argue that gaming's bigger. I had an opportunity to go to Gamescom, and I mean, you're talking in like 4 days, 500,000 people go through that area. It's I've never seen anything like it.
Great. Again,
and they do these,
reason why
it's just amazing.
Could be a good example,
right? So yeah, I'm not against it.
Comic-Con, I think, is the closest example that I think E3 or ESA could learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if E3 does happen next year as a physical event, it'll be interesting to see how that pairs with Summer Game Fest next year, which is also going to have a live component to it in addition to online content. So we'll have to go to different weeks. Are they borrowing each other's time, stepping on each other? Don't know how that's going to look.
It'll be interesting.
What that's going to look like yet.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be
Good
interesting.
topic.
And probably frustrating for us as fans as we figure this stuff out, or they figure this stuff out. So
yeah, I just want mom and dad to stop fighting, and I just want to go to my favorite video game place. That's all I want.
Right. All right. So speaking of which, since we didn't have an E3 and we talk about it, not E3 season, when do we think that Nintendo is going to drop their Nintendo Direct? I tweeted that my prediction was June 14th, but I was basing mine on E3 timeframes. So, and I know that others have speculated between the 14th and the 16th timeframe as well.
Yeah. So a couple things here, right? The 14th is what we all went based on past adoption. That makes logical sense. The fact that Nintendo hasn't said jack about it is, I don't think they're going to give us a 2-day notice about this one. Also, the fact that Xbox is now taking that part for another showcase that exact same day, not great. The 16th was only rumored because everyone thought that because Neon White was shadow dropping, quote unquote, on that day that it was moved to the 16th, which was not a real thing, but the internet lost its mind because you're so thirsty for Nintendo Direct news.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked if we're seeing it like the 21st. If Nintendo kind of lets everything quiet down, and then they're like, all right, now we're going to talk about it.
Okay. 21st. What do you think, Jesse? What was your prediction that
I
you
was
were
also
hinting at?
I was originally thinking around the 16th because I didn't know what game it was at the time, but I think it was Neil Ronahan from Nintendo World Report making a comment on Twitter about something's got to be up if we have a review for a Nintendo game with an embargo of a date coming up, and this game hasn't even been announced yet. It sounds like it's going to be a shadow.
Was the Turtles game?
No, it was Neon White.
It was Neon White.
Oh, it was Neon White. Okay, all right.
Oh, and he did announce it on Twitter, I think, shortly after the presentation. I'm like, yeah, I was talking about Neon White because at that point it was announced, so he could talk about it. But so because of that, and it's not so Neon White is now no longer a shadow drop. It's something that we know is coming. I'm thinking Nintendo's going to do what they did in 2020. They're not going to do anything in June. They'll wait until they're ready to do it. I think in 2020 they didn't make announcements until August.
2020 they didn't do anything until I think August. They were doing remember this was the year that they were like, hey, by the way, Paper Mario's done. Here's a tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
gold, go buy it in a month.
Yeah. I think Nintendo has to make some kind of presence. I think they need to show up with some kind of Direct because again, we have to remember they have been planning for a Direct. They have been planning to have something at E3 months and months and months ago. We know this, right? Listen to Kit and Krista. It takes so long for them to prep for this kind of stuff. They strategically plan for it. I don't think they're just throwing all that effort away. But I think that they're more conscientious to make their own PR beat when they're ready to make their own PR beat. And again, not abiding by the E3 guardrails that are in place, but rather when they're ready. So that's why I think we're going to see it maybe later in June. But I could also be with Jesse. Like they could wait till July. They could do whatever.
I would love to be wrong on this one. And
yeah, exactly.
They'll probably send a tweet saying tomorrow morning, as soon as I post this.
Yeah. Well, I think the other part is they do have to start telling us a bit more, right? The only thing that we know, the very last date that we actually know is September 9th. I think it's the 9th for Splatoon. That's it. Right now they're going to go into PR marketing mode here in a couple of moments in regards to Fire Emblem coming up, Live Alive, Xenoblade 3, and then Splatoon. So they're kind of starting to run out of games that we are aware of that they need to start having conversations about. So I think they need to get in there. They need to make some. They need to start telling a story soon.
This is the same conversation we have with ourselves every January.
100%.
And I don't think they've ever let us down.
No.
Yep. So we will see what happens. It'll be very interesting and very fun because we just want, regardless of the date, we just want to direct so we know what the heck's going to end the year, because we're so doggone curious as to what's going to fill some of those slots for October, November, and December.
Scarlet and Violet.
Well, there's something that's got to go along with that for Black Friday. So what's it going to be? What's it going to be? So, and we have our predictions for that. So speaking of predictions, gentlemen.
Yes.
Do you have just a handful, maybe a few Nintendo Direct content predictions if it does drop?
Yeah. My prediction was
soon.
There is no show this month. So
okay.
That's all I got.
That's it. That's all you got. What about anything that you predicted at the beginning of the year? Would any of that help?
I have no idea what I said. I didn't go back and look.
I'm sure you have those readily available, don't you, Tim? Or do we not have
I have mine.
Okay.
I'll see if I can dig up what I said.
But yeah, Justin, I know you were a guest on Nintendo Drive and you had your predictions there.
Yeah.
Are there any you want to reiterate here, or is there anything new you might want to?
I have some like wishful dreams. Can we talk about wishful dreams?
What? Bring them on.
I want Valorant to come to the Nintendo Switch.
Valorant, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I want Valorant, and I think they've got that relationship with that company. What the heck's that company called? Riot Games. They've done some things with them. Right? I believe I predicted this at the beginning of the year that I think Valorant might show up. I really would like that. I would like to see another Pikmin. That would be nice.
Okay.
I think what else would just like make me.
You got a cloud game you'd want to see?
Yeah, I mean, like my cloud games are like, I'd love to see Star Wars Fallen Order Jedi, or what is it? Fallen
Order. Yep.
There you go. That one, I'd like to see that. I originally
since the new Jedi was announced.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I originally thought like we might get Marvel's Avengers coming over the Switch and cloud, but Square Enix has really just like pulled the plug on that thing, so they're not going to invest any time and money into that. What do I want? You know what I want? I want a release date for Outer Wilds is what I want. You're killing me here, Smalls. You're killing me here.
Are you hoping for?
I want a Donkey Kong game. Obviously, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, DK.
Yeah, DK. What else am I thinking?
How about Hollow Knight? What about Hollow Knight?
You know what? Here's the thing. I know the internet's like just all over Hollow Knight. I've downloaded it. I never played it. But I know everyone's like so hyped for it. Yeah. So I want other people to get something that they're happy about. I think that'd be nice for them.
For sure.
I'm predicting we're gonna get an actual release date for what's that game? Mario and Rabbids.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Like, man, we're just so fortunate to have so much great content.
For sure.
So I'm looking through my predictions I made earlier this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And things like, Game Boy, Game Boy Color will be an NSO. That still might happen, but I don't think that'll be in this next announcement. Fire Emblem remakes from the Super Nintendo era, that is a possibility. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster releasing on Switch, that could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I also said a Mario game coming out with the tie-in with the movie, but with the movie delayed, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be announced in June.
Mm-hmm.
I had some of those predictions too from the beginning of the year, but not necessarily mine, although would have worked with the movie tie-in. Mine was more of just that we haven't seen a new 2D Mario in a long time. So I thought maybe a new 2D Mario game would be announced, or even maybe, who knows, a new Super Mario collection or a new Super Mario game. Who knows? Because I think what there was for handheld, they only did 2.
Yeah. I would love to see a new Legend of Zelda in the art style of A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
I would like that. I would like that very much.
A Link to
I'd
the
also
Past or the
a Link Between Worlds, Link
Link
to the
Between
Past.
Worlds?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
kind of that top down.
Yeah.
I want Metroid. I want Metroid for you, Tim. I want Metroid for us.
That's on my list
I want
too.
I want us to not talk about Metroid anymore.
I have that on there as they will be announcing the Metroid Prime remake.
Yeah.
And doing it the same way they did last year with Dread, where it's like, we don't have anything to show you for Prime 4. It's going along fine, but here's this. And then they'll drop Prime 1. That's what I'm hoping.
If I were to make a Zelda prediction, it would be the Oracle of Ages and Seasons remake in the style of Link's Awakening Switch.
Nice. That right. On my predictions list, I did say a 2D Zelda game would be announced. So hoping that would be dropped at E3. And then the last crazy one I had was, and I mentioned this during Game Pass because I was a guest on their show, their recent show that they did. They did a prediction show for the Xbox showcase that's coming up. And I mentioned that N64 GoldenEye would be dropped on there, but also be cross play between Xbox and Switch. So I did say GoldenEye and or Perfect Dark, because I know how hard.
Isn't there Perfect Dark game currently?
There's a brand new one they're working on.
Yeah,
yes, but I was saying the N64 version they could potentially, because they had multiplayer on there and stuff like that too. So, and because of the licenses with GoldenEye, I wasn't sure if that would be an issue. So they would just bring over Perfect Dark, but that was, you know, prediction is that N64 GoldenEye and or Perfect Dark gets released on the Switch and would also be cross-play with the Xbox.
Yeah. I'd still like to see a survival looter shooter as a DLC pack for Animal Crossing. Just a zombie apocalypse.
A survivor.
The zombie apocalypse.
Shooter. Wow.
Right, has taken over the island and it's just Tom Nook and he has to survive. Gets real dark and grim real fast. I'd love to see that, you know?
Yes, I would pick that game up again and play it and re-download it and everything.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to see. I think the problem is there's so many games out. There's so many good games that are announced that, like, man, just time thing and like, I don't know. Here's
an easy prediction I think we could probably all agree on. Do we think there's going to be a jaw-dropping moment during this direct that will be like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming?
The later I think the smaller that probability. If they had something that they would want to give, I think they would want to show it as soon as they could.
It's interesting because I think like they're like, if Tunic was announced, I'd be like, yeah, but that would be jaw dropping. That'd be like prediction right. I think points, right? I think jaw dropping. I think
like we see, like, say, jaw dropping, like something you weren't expecting, a new Mario Luigi RPG game or something like that, you know.
You know what it'd be? Here's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger remastered, coming to the Nintendo Switch. Boom. Game over. Good night. Go home. We're done. that would be it. Or even that just coming to the NSO. Or sorry, the NSO would be fine too. But like the remaster would be freaking amazing.
Yes. In 2D HD.
How about Mother 4?
Yeah, Mother like game. some of these things that were like we've asked forever and they never come. I think if like all of a sudden it was like the Halo collection is now available on Nintendo Switch, like some of these things that were like that'll never happen. You're like, oh my gosh, they actually made that happen. Okay. Game Pass now available on, like, these crazy ideas that like never will happen, but like, oh shoot, they did it, right? They figured that out. That would be the ahas. I think for like franchises. Yeah, again, I mean, I'd be excited for a Donkey Kong game.
F-Zero.
For sure. I don't really care much for F-Zero.
But if it drops, is that a jaw-dropping?
I don't know if that is.
Like, oh my gosh, they finally did an F-Zero game. No.
I'd be happy for other people who would be really happy.
Okay.
But for me, I don't really care. So that for me, it's not a jaw drop.
Okay. So another way to put it is I say jaw dropping, but also one that would make you just be like, yeah, woo, yeah, you're just jumping out your seat. It's super excited.
Captain Falcon's Noodle Cafe?
Yes, I'd be like, okay, where's my check?
Where's my check? If they announced Overwatch 2 for a Nintendo Switch and it was actually coming, that'd be pretty impressive.
Or like you said, DK.
People are wondering if that's actually coming, period. Not much less on the Switch.
I know, right?
Right.
I don't know. What about you, Tim?
Jaw dropping for me. I think a lot of the things you mentioned definitely would be, like a Prime game would get me jumping out of my seat. Obviously, if they actually come out and say what I guess we predict it, but it's for us Prime people. I think it's like we hope they are remaking it, and it is what we speculated for so long. Like I joke about it, but it was like ever since Marty said, hey, this developer said it's too hard to do a trilogy. And I was like, well, that's because they're working on just one single one. I was like, that actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because if they need the time to work on Prime 4, then give us remakes of Prime 1, 2, and 3. And I will jump for joy. I'll be so excited. So
Ninfrendo in the chat is asking for a sequel to 1-2 Switch, which is Switch 3-4. I don't know if
there's a rumor about that. Actually.
Yeah, Ninfrendo, there's a rumor that they are developing a new 1-2 Switch,
and it's not going over well.
Not going well. It's not going well at all, and they're struggling. That it's kind of basically ready, but like playtesting results and stuff did not bode well. So I think they'll release it. I think it might just be like an addition to being on the NSO platform. I think that would probably be it.
I don't think this will happen at this E3 because they just did the Nintendo Switch Sports. But if they did a Nintendo Land for the Switch, I think that would be another exciting moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, or even if they did the Switch Sports DLC where you end up on the island, something to that effect, I guess. I think that would be pretty exciting too, because a lot of people are looking for that. So there's just, it's so hard, especially nowadays, to do anything crazy. I mean, I did my crazy pick with the N64 GoldenEye thing.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's the problem, is that the Switch has kind of just been this just amazing machine that we've kind of I don't mean to be waxing poetic here, but haven't we kind of got everything we wanted for on the Switch pretty much? Right. I think I was talking to Sean about it. I was like, Nintendo's really kind of forcing to bring out the C and D level characters now. I'd love to see another Pikmin, right? Sure. But Pikmin's not an IP that moves Switches.
Right.
Right.
But that's what I think is the exciting part.
You know what? Super Mario Galaxy 3.
Oh yeah.
That would
okay. That would be something.
Or
what about Mario Odyssey 2?
I'd be all right with that. Right. Again, all right, I'm cool.
Okay.
I just don't know if there's I don't know.
I think it's just one of those things where, and I think you guys talked about this before, where we're in the point where we had the major drops for the system, and now we're looking for Nintendo's creative juices to start flowing here in some of these games, maybe with a new IP or a new direction in some game, or a character or whatever, or bringing back something like the Mario Luigi stuff. Even though they closed down that studio, there still could be another studio that works on it, or something.
Give me a Luigi's Mansion 4, right? Let's go.
Do you think they would do something like that already?
No, they wouldn't.
No, that's too soon.
It's too soon, but I'd love it. I'd love it.
Unless they built off the same engine. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
It
know.
was only, what, 9 or 10 years between second and third one?
A little bit.
Chat, what would make you all go crazy? Let us know.
Yes.
I seen Infrendo saying Mario Kart 10X. Yeah. We might get a look at the new tracks, right?
Yes, that's true.
We might get a date for it, but it won't be out today.
Wait, what's this about? A Nintendo Dad simulator that Mega Dragon is talking about?
I love that idea.
That's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Don't we have a Nintendo Dad's app? Right? Didn't
There's
John
a
make
Jesse Pitcross.
Jesse Pitcross available on the App Store?
And then
right?
John said he wants.
I don't think he ever put it on the App Store.
Oh, didn't he?
No.
How are we not monetizing off of that, guys? Come on, you're letting that one slide.
You got to have Test Flight in order to play that one.
Right? Yeah, I know.
He's working on your game next, Justin.
Oh man,
some sort of Fortnite derivative or something.
I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. You know what I mean? That might not the like wow, that would blow my socks off, but like if Call of Duty is now coming to the Switch, not that I'm a Call of Duty guy, but wow, like that would be a holy cow, they finally did that.
Wasn't there talk about that at one point that somebody in the Call of Duty realm, an executive or whatever, was saying that was one of the things, or Xbox or somebody was saying that they wanted Activision to bring it over to the Switch, a version of it or something like that. So
yeah,
it would not surprise me, but that would be a wow. It'd be like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I did not. So I think for me, it's a lot of like third parties that I would not expect to show up. That would wow me.
I'm afraid if they do that, they're going to EA it and just give us a complete.
That's it. I was going to say
exactly it.
That would blow me away right there. If EA came out and said, we got some sports games for the Nintendo Switch, that would blow my freaking mind.
Yeah. If NHL 94 is finally released, then I think we've all won.
Yes.
E3.
Yes, that would be the winner right there. End of show. A all around.
Pack your bags up and go home, folks. We're done here.
Yes. So
it's too funny.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing your predictions. And again, to all of everybody who's watching, if you're in our Discord or even follow us on Twitter, let us know what your predictions are. Share it with us. And we'll see if we got another week where we don't get a show. We'll bring up your predictions on the show next week. Something to talk about, right? So share it with us. Let us know what you are hoping for as well. So tell us your dreams like Justin did with us. So with that, let's move on to events.
Do it.
All right, the events this month so far is the dinner table, which I like to remind everybody about, is every third Friday of the month, where I get together with the community and Jesse pops in. And I don't know if you've ever jumped in yet, Justin. I know Friday nights is tough for you and Marty, so it's understandable. But we have the community get together and we talk about whatever's on everybody's minds. It could be E3 stuff. Or not E3 stuff, but we will be talking about that. What did we get from this year's not E3? So what did we get? What we didn't get? Our wants and surprises. Maybe by the time this happens, we would have had our Nintendo Direct, or maybe we don't, and we're speculating on what's going on then. And then, of course, we have our cocktail hour where we usually talk about our shows on Disney Plus that we're watching or Netflix. So most likely we'll be talking more about Obi-Wan Kenobi and how that's going. So if you want to join in on that, again, you have to be a Patreon or a Twitch subscriber. And I know some people got some subscriptions done today. So thanks for that. And if you need to get into Discord again, hit me up on the DM in Discord, and we will get you connected and in our Discord for you to participate. And it's basically every third Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And this would be June 17th. So next Friday. So
nice.
And with that, let's go on right quick to Jesse's PokéMinutes.
Pika, pika, Pikachu!
I hate you all.
To celebrate the Pokemon Go expansion to the Pokemon trading card game, the Pokemon TCG content will also be appearing in Pokemon Go. from June 16th through June 30th, Pikachu will be wearing a TCG-themed hat. Mewtwo will be in 5-star raids. And Wimpod and Golisopod will make their Pokemon Go debut. Both will be appearing in the TCG expansion. The card game expansion launches on July 1st. Then Community Day featuring Dano. I hope that's how they pronounce it. If it's Dano or Dino, I'm not sure.
No, this is how Jesse pronounced it. So the Pokemon Company has to pronounce it that way now. So if it's not, then we'll have to get them on it.
So, the Community Day is June 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. If you evolve a Zweilous into a Hydreigon before 7 p.m., the Hydreigon will know the Community Day exclusive charge attack, Brutal Swing. Egg incubators will be 4 times as effective. You get twice the candy for catching Pokemon. You'll get twice the chance of receiving Dano Candy XL from catching Dano. And Zweilous will appear in 4-star raids following the community day. When Zweilous has been defeated in a raid, Dino will appear in random spawns in a 300-meter radius around the gym for 30 minutes. Trainers are not allowed to use remote raid passes when encountering Zweilous raids to receive this benefit. So I don't know how widely known that is. It was literally a small line item at the bottom of the blog post. I think people are going to be upset when they realize what's really going to happen with that.
Riot.
Ninfredo says, but how does Justin pronounce it?
Yes. How do you pronounce it?
Sorry,
Justin?
What word am I pronouncing?
The
Deino.
Can you highlight it in the doc?
Right here.
Garbage.
Oh, Community Day featuring garbage. Okay.
I saw that coming.
Deino. Deino is how I'd say it.
All right, there we go.
Deino.
Featuring Deino.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Pokeminute with Justin. Deino.
Okay, second.
He is a dinosaur. He is small. He has 2 horns, but one of them is awkwardly kind of misplaced and not as long. He actually has an inferiority complex in regards to his horn because all the other dinosaurs or dinos make fun of him. He's also a vegetarian. He doesn't like meat, and he has some high anxiety about fighting other Pokemon, and so that makes him concerned. That's the history of him. He was found in the Volcanalio region of the Pokemons, and the Professor Hottie Pants found him, and they trained him as behalf of his evil gym battle partner Sockboy, and they like balls, Pokeballs. Pokemon summarized by Justin. You're welcome.
And now for what we've been playing.
Do they need a Manscaped advertisement?
Good transition.
Justin, it's been a while since you've been on the show. What you been playing?
I'm gonna be honest, not a lot. I'm
with you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's just been my life has just been wicked busy. And the only thing I've been playing is I've just had like 20 minutes here and there to squeeze in games of Apex and Fortnite. Jumped in the new season, for Fortnite. They made some changes. That was all right.
Yes.
Darth Vader's there. That's cool.
Yeah, I downloaded that. I probably missed it. So
yeah, I kind of like the new weird locations they've got, but yeah, that's
going there right now.
I want to jump into something. I'm gonna be honest, I want to jump in. I want to just get involved in a story, and I have so many games to play, and I could choose any of them. And it's almost like analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I
got one for you.
What's that?
Finish Breath of the Wild.
You son of a bitch. Right.
I need to as well. I need to do it as well.
You know, that's the problem is I'm like, here's the thing is I'll open up my Switch right now. And by the way, I just downloaded Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wild at Heart, right? Haven't finished that. That was a very Pokemon game. Arise, a Simple Story. Oh, I love that. That was such a good journey. Revita, it was all right. Nobody Saves the World. I was in that for like 12 hours and absolutely had a great time. Haven't gone back to that since COVID finished. Bug Snacks, haven't finished that yet. You know, like, I mean, this is a starting list here, right? I got Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, which I'm still angry at. I'm so bad at that game. Young Souls, I really enjoyed.
The game sampler at work here.
Yeah, Life is Strange, True Colors. Haven't finished that, but I enjoyed every moment of it. Death's Door, man, how fantastic is that game? I'm not done that one yet. Chicory. I've played like 40 minutes of Chicory, but I loved every moment. Like, and that's just on my like Switch OLED, which is kind of my new Switch. I go over to my other one. I have like 500 games on there.
Well, you have this weekend to finish all those games.
Thank you. I'm not doing anything this weekend at all.
Before the next.
And I'm getting strikers tomorrow, right? Because I want to play soccer with our community. So.
Oh, look, there's some sort of movie going on in Fortnite. That's how long that's been.
Why does it feel like people are burned out on games these days? That's a great question, Cheesy C64.
Are you burned out? Do you feel like you're burned out?
You know, I feel.
I know last month I was, you know, so I have. If you noticed, I haven't played hardly anything on my Switch in the last 2 months.
Am I burned out?
I've been doing a lot of catching up on TV and anime in that time, but
yeah, that's such a great question. Is are you burned out from it?
For me, I don't feel like I'm burned out on it. It's more of I feel guilty if I go to try to play anything else because I feel like I don't want the community to take this wrong because I know a lot of the people jokingly in the community pressure, you know, are giving me pressure to complete Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But I want to finish Breath of the Wild and I set myself a goal so I could get it done before the end of June. Yeah. So
and I'm starting to feel 5 years ago when there was nothing else to play.
Yeah, I know. Right. So when I look at games that come out or if I'm even reviewing a game, it's like, okay, I'll review this, I'll get to playing it. And I need to get back in Breath of the Wild because I want to get it done. So
yeah, you know, it's funny, right? We had a conversation. There was a pre-show a while ago, and I bet you, cheesy C64 did not mean to ask this question the way it's about to go. But you know, I think one of the things that I would say for us, and I know that Marty was really good about this. He had a great conversation about it. Is I think as content creators. Right. You know, we get content and we believe, you know, games and we get access to games and stuff. We want to make content. And we want to provide that to our audience and help you and create conversation around it. And so sometimes I think this sounds bad. Sometimes the joy of video gaming, right? The escapism sometimes isn't there in the same way because you feel like you're always doing something for it or for it. And it was interesting because Marty actually, go ahead, Tim.
I was going to interject here with I think it's more of because we want to share these games that we're getting with the community, but sometimes it's not games that we necessarily would pick for ourselves.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say, and also I want to give a big shout out, you know, Hambo and Johnny Solo something, you know, Abyssal, there's a bunch of folks in the community who also do content creation for us, which is absolutely tremendous. We send them codes and they do that. Right. And so, I think sometimes for us, it's finding something to get lost in, or I guess, or like get sunk into, or really grip into, because there are other times where, hey, I'm really enjoying this game, but I know I have to jump over here and create content for this game or give a first look and get my thoughts together. So sometimes it feels a bit jarring, I think. And that's why games like for me, like Fortnite and Apex for me, like those are just games I just play because they don't have great content for them. It's just community games. It's just connecting with people. So I don't know if that answers any of the question there really, but I think you can definitely get burnt out. And I feel like I'm waiting for something to dive into, and I don't know what that is. And I don't know why like Live Alive and Xenoblade 3 keep sitting out there on the horizon. But then I'm also like, oh, but I should probably play the first Xenoblade. But that's not going to happen. Right. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play 30 minutes of it. And I think Mecha Dragon called me on this a while ago, and I'll put it in my case and then put it away. Right. And so just to sit in the pocket with a game for a longer time is, I think, what I need to focus on. And I like for me, it's actually funny because I have 3 Switches in my house, and I have different games on different Switches. So in some ways it's like, well, what console do you want to go to? Where do you want to play? Like, what are you doing? And so there's a whole, and again, I recognize that we are super, super fortunate to do what we do. We are super fortunate to get access. We are super fortunate for all these amazing things. We're super fortunate for an amazing community. And so it's not that, it's kind of, sometimes I think of fatigue in some ways.
Yeah. It's just more of trying to balance it too.
Yeah.
So it's like, we want to do these things for the community for sure. And we are always honored to be able to get these codes from companies that want us to share these games and stuff like that. It's also being able to find the time for us to play the games that we prefer. And sometimes we can't because of the limited time we have. It's like, okay, if we weren't doing this, it would be the limited time we have. If we chose to play a game, it would be the game that we chose to play or that we bought or whatever.
I've got 2 or 3 other projects that I want to do, and I barely have time to play games, much less do those other projects.
Right. And then so when a review comes up, it's like, okay, that limited time ends up being for a review or first look or whatever, or video content or whatever like that, which, like you said, Justin, we're not trying to cry about that. We're like, woe is me. It's more of just trying to share where we have listeners who talk about their limited time because they have, young kids or their new parents and all that kind of stuff. Our new thing is basically, our kids are older now or out of the house, like in Jesse's case, or moved back in. But anyway,
that's happened multiple times with multiple kids. Yes.
There's still life that happens. And this is our hobby. And like this past month has been a whirlwind of crazy for me, where I haven't been, you would think I would have had all this time to play a bunch of games, but I didn't, because of COVID. I didn't feel like playing much. When I had COVID, I was so exhausted. And then when I wasn't exhausted anymore, I was trying to catch up on things where I couldn't do it before. And then we were going on vacation and I couldn't play as much as I thought I'd be able to then. And then when I got back, there was a garage sale to prepare for, and you're exhausted from that. So it's just like, and everybody out here who listens to us knows that they have their different reasons why they can't get to the games and stuff like that. So I'm sure everybody understands one reason or another, they can't get to the games they want to play. Our reasons are different, but it's reasons we choose as well, because we are Nintendo dads and we want to share these new games and experiences with you. And does that mean we sacrifice our own time? Yes, it does.
Yeah. And
that's the struggle.
Yeah. Sorry. It's funny. Cheesy C64 says, I didn't mean it in a mean way. No, I didn't take it in a mean way. I just went down a rabbit hole on that question.
We derailed the show as usual.
Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah. It is hard to kind of focus on when another's right around the corner. Right. And that's kind of the appetite of like, I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited for TMNT. Oh man, I'm so excited for Neon White. Oh man, I'm so excited for Fall Guys. Man, I'm so excited for Strikers. Like, that's 4 games in 11 days. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to get all of them.
I got 9 games that I found in today alone that intrigue me. Now, will I get them all? Probably not, because I know I won't have time to play them. But there's 9 games right there that I'm like, wow. For sure.
Yeah.
So, great questions, of course.
Great question. Again, hopefully.
So, Apex Legends, Fortnite, anything else, Justin?
Nah.
That's makes sense. All right. And I did look up the Darth Vader thing, and it looks like the only way I can get Darth Vader is if I
Reach level
Get to
100.
page 10, Battle Pass.
Tier 100.
Claim 90 more rewards or reach level 90 to unlock the page with Darth Vader.
How much money can you throw at that to get to skip levels?
You can throw, I think, a little bit at it, but you don't want to do that. That's not, don't do that.
I think you only get up to 25 anyways at the level 25, but yeah, that I don't play enough Fortnite to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about time. So, but anyways, all right. So Jesse, what you been playing?
Wow. Sorry, I'm just reading this in the chat. Mecha Dragon says Strikers is so good right now, it's actually crashed Nintendo servers. They're all currently down minus the eShop.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, Pokemon Go Fest was last weekend. I streamed about 3 hours total. I think 2.5 hours on Saturday and like a half hour on Sunday, because most of Sunday's content was stuff I couldn't do at home. I had to be out and about to do it, but I did complete all of the missions that it wanted me to do. And it started a new story. It sounds like I don't know if it'll end with August's event or if it'll just if it'll take a turn and then continue later. But it actually started the story, which I never thought I'd see plot in Pokemon Go, but it exists. It happened with Fest.
Nice.
I was kind of surprised. Okay, continuing my playthrough of Eiyuden Chronicle Rising on Xbox. Though I'm getting to the part soon, I think, where I'm going to get stuck because I'm following the main path, and then there's side quests. I'm getting to the point where I can't complete the missions because I keep dying. So I don't know if it needs more grinding or more gear upgrades, but
I think you're missing some gear or some abilities.
Maybe. So that one might be winding down.
Okay.
I wanted to talk more about Monogram Minimal again because they put out an update, 1.0.1. I don't know if you remember the first time I talked about this game, well, it had been 5 or 6 weeks ago. I talked about their attempt at having user-generated content and that it was kind of garbage. It was no trying to play other people's games was awful. Like you say you wanted to play online, and it would take like 3 or 4 minutes, it seems, of loading. No music, black screen, just saying loading, and it was an awful experience. This update fixed it, like severely fixed it. It was nice.
Oh, nice.
Instead of trying to pull down all the puzzles, it only pulls down one page, so 10 puzzles at a time. So the loading time is 3 or 4 seconds, and then you.
Well, I'm glad they listened to our show and heard you complain about those things. So.
So like it'll say page 1 of 20. You hit R to get page 2, and it'll go back to loading for about 3 or 4 seconds to load the next batch. So while I haven't completed all of the in-game puzzles, I'm kind of going through and playing the puzzles that have been user generated. Again, most of them are garbage because they're user generated, but there are some good ones in there.
Okay.
And then while I haven't played Final Fantasy 3 this week, there was something I wanted to mention last time, but I forgot to talk about it. The story makes mention of how the light and dark are always changing sides in power, and that whenever one side gets too strong, the other side comes up to bring balance. So they said, normally in this game, actively now, and in normal games, the dark fiends are getting too powerful, so the warriors of light show up to defeat them to maintain the balance. But the game story says in the past, light fiends were getting too strong, and the warriors of darkness had to come to maintain the balance. And I thought that was a nice little twist.
Interesting.
That in this world, it goes both ways. It isn't always light attacking the dark. Sometimes it goes the other way around.
Interesting.
So I thought that was cute. Again, so I think I'm near the end game on that. I just haven't had a chance to play that one. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, I talked about the Famicom disk system last week. I haven't had it. I did get it working on my CRT TV behind me. Found out, I have to put this on channel 95, not channel 2, and and it worked. But
Can in case anybody missed it, why did you have to put it on channel 95 instead of channel 2?
okay, well, so like if you remember older consoles like Atari and Intellivision, there's a channel 2 and channel 3 switch. So you normally pick the one that doesn't have a TV signal,
Right.
to reduce interference, because it literally went through the antenna system and the TV saw it as an antenna signal to play the games. The Famicom has channel 1 and channel 2. We don't have a channel 1 in North America. There is a channel 2. So I tried setting it to channel 2. Well, it wasn't working. Found out that and I knew about this at one point, but I forgot about it. The channel to frequency mapping in Japan is different than it is in North America. So, obviously, I don't know what the frequency is, but what I needed to find a channel from one of our channels that matched the frequency that channels 1 and 2 generated in Japan. And it happens to be channels 95 and 96.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So as I was testing games, I have 5 discs. 4 of them have an A side and B side. The 5th one was just tennis with no label on the back. So as a test, I'm like, let's see what happens if I put this inside B, expecting to see like an error message. But no, it loaded the game.
Nice.
So I don't have 5 games. I have 6. The 6th game is volleyball.
Very cool.
I checked price charting on that, and it was like a $9 game.
Yeah. Is that the one that has the 2 sides?
Which one?
The disc.
Yeah. Side 1 is tennis. Side 2 is volleyball.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So each game is a single-sided game, which allows it to have the double-sided game aspect.
Okay.
Most games you need both sides for it to work.
Okay.
And then I did some shopping on eBay last weekend. I purchased Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, and I'll get those in near the end of June or early July. And then I put a bid on Doki Doki Panic, which at this point I'm currently still winning.
Okay.
And I hope I can continue to win, at least if I can get it for that cheap price.
Right. Awesome.
Anyway, so I do plan on doing a live stream this weekend. I just need to move it from my table over there to here with my desk, so I can set it up for streaming. So I plan on doing some streaming of Famicom games.
Cool.
So, and that other game I sent you?
That I also plan on. Yeah, I forget the name of it. It's one of Atari's newest releases. I do plan on streaming that as well. I have that downloaded and ready to go, but
nice.
But I'm just more excited about the Famicom games.
That's fair.
Nice. All right. So what I've been playing is, although limited, I was able to play a couple games, some more Breath of the Wild during the time that I haven't been on the show. In fact, I think I was able to, I don't think I mentioned this on the show. I beat the 3rd Divine Beast. I have 1 more Divine Beast to go. I've got the costume I need to dress up as the, I forget what term they use, but one of the females in that region, so that I could sneak into where I need to and be able to get to that Divine Beast, I guess. So I'm making my way through. Then I'll have that 4th Divine Beast hopefully beaten, and then do whatever I need to do in order to get ready to beat Ganon. So getting closer. And again, my goal is to try to finish. It was by the end of July, but it moved up because of Fire Girl coming out at the end of June, and I want to be able to play that because I'm excited for that game. So, and I don't want.
I'm on the fence on that one.
I'm gonna try to get Breath of the Wild done. If I don't, not a big deal. I'll still my goal was to get it done before Live Alive comes out, because that is the next big game that'll take me about 5 years to complete, probably.
Probably, yep.
Or until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to Live Alive. That's my next big one. Live Alive, sorry. So I also played SILT, which was one of the games we got to review. I got the first look up on our YouTube page for that. It is a very artistic game, very visual. There's no voiceover acting, there's no reading. It's very visual and artistic gameplay that tells a story from there. So if you're a gamer who doesn't like that kind of thing, then you might want to stay away. I can't remember if there's a demo for this or not. It's been a while since I looked at it, but so basically it's an underwater game. And if you listen to me talk about games before, I like underwater games for some reason. I don't know why, but SILT is another one that's underwater. You're a diver. Story seems to lead to the idea that you were a diver that got caught by a chain, either on purpose or by accident, and drowned. But you were brought back to life by something or somehow. And you are able to possess other creatures in the water. And that's how you use their abilities to manipulate your environments, and do things in there to complete puzzles. So in the video that I did, I was completing one of the puzzles in there to feed, as best as I can describe, feed a worm to a bird-like creature in a tree that's underwater. And there was like either 4 or 5 of these bird-like creatures I had to feed in order to unlock something. What that is, I don't know yet, because I only unlocked, I think, the 4th thing, and I got one more bird-like creature to feed, and then we'll see what happens. But again, for me, it's very intriguing. I just want to see where this goes. It's very kind of zen in a way, because it's underwater. You hear the underwater sounds, and it is slow. It's not fast paced. So if you're looking again for something like that, you don't want to play it because it's too slow. Then you might not want to play this game. But again, I find it very interesting because it is a very artistic view, and there's an artist that did some work on it that I can't remember his name at the moment. But check out the video, at least see what you think from there, and go from there, I guess. And then I'm playing some other third game I can't talk about right now because of embargo. So look forward to that video dropping. I think that is also a game that's coming out on the 16th, or my embargo is up on the 16th.
16th is a busy day.
Yeah. So I will have.
I'm trying to remember what you're doing now.
So I will have more on that game around that time, the 15th or the 16th or something like that. There would be a video on that. So don't look for anything that you saw today for me that I'm going to be dropping. It's not anything like that. So it's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Neon White or anything like that. So, but it is something very zen as well. So that's about all I can say.
And Friendo asking if it's Advance Wars.
Oh yeah, I know which one it is. Okay, got it.
Dang it. He guessed it.
Yeah.
You're good.
Oh, you're busy, because I just got 2 more codes that just came in that I'm like, hey, I need someone to do stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, that is Super Zen game, isn't it?
Yes.
Or it looks like it is, at least. So.
Yep. And it's gonna be. I'm trying to figure out how to do the video for that one because of how.
Sure.
So, but yep, that's the games I've been playing. So let's move on to the community spotlight.
Okay.
Before I go any further, I just remembered something I wanted to ask you, Justin.
Yeah.
How has your review been going for your latest headset that you got?
Oh, for my, what is this? It's right here. EPOS wireless headset.
The hybrid, right?
The hybrid. So here's something. I really, really enjoy it. It's actually a great headset. There's something wrong with it. I'm trying to figure out whether it's a Justin error or which might 9 times out of 10 usually Justin error.
Okay.
So I will actually take off hold on a second here. I'll take off my virtual background so people can see this because it's pretty cool. Choose virtual background. None. I said none. There it is right there. And so a couple of things. It is wireless, which is fantastic. It's got a dongle that I plug into the side of the Switch to connect to it via Bluetooth, but it also naturally connects to the Switch via Bluetooth. Sound is great. I love it. It's got that dampening dials. The kind of the arm comes down really nicely and easily. It also detaches because it's magnetic, so you can kind of just wear them. I do look like I'm going to land a plane though every time. I think I should have one of those fat heads for it. But I cannot get the voice chat to work.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like I was playing with my friend Jeff. I was like, cool, we're gonna play some Fortnite. I want to try the audio. And he could not hear me at all. I could hear him, he could not hear me. So there doesn't appear to be any specific button I need to turn on.
There's no mute button or anything.
There's no mute button or anything.
Oh, that's right, because it flips up to mute, right?
I think so. And
then you flip it down and talk. Okay.
Yeah. So what is going on here? Right. So I'm trying to figure out. So I like it. Like everything about it, I really like. And I got it. Hold on a second here. I mean, I've got my other Steel series here, right? Yeah. These are my Steel series one. I would say generally I enjoy the Steel series a little bit more.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is the padding is like a soft neoprene padding. I find it fits very comfortably. It fits very nicely around my ears. This is like it's kind of like a leather padding. And so it really I find it really sucks right up against my ears. So my ears kind of just feel like they're just fitting in there.
Okay.
So that's more preference of just how people like their headsets. I like mine a little bit looser, but it's a little bit smaller comparatively from size wise.
Okay.
But I'm really enjoying it. I just want to figure out why the voice part won't work. The other part I really like about it is that it does have Bluetooth enablement, like dual Bluetooth.
Right.
So you have to be hardwired into the other device, but I can connect my phone to it via Bluetooth and listen to music or listen to whatever I want. Whereas my Steel series one, I actually had to do a line in. It didn't have that Bluetooth connection, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of functions I like about it. I just don't know why the voice won't work.
That's what I teased you about because you had the Arctis 1s and I have the Arctis 3. Right, you also got the 7s, right? So but my Arctis 3 Bluetooth has the ability to do what your EPOS ones do.
Yeah.
The hybrid, which is I can connect to my phone Bluetooth, but I can hardwire into my Switch. So I can, mainly meant for being able to voice chat with the phone, and then play the game and hear the game sounds with the Switch. So,
I think both are awesome headsets. You couldn't go wrong with them. I'd highly recommend both of them. I just don't know why the voice is. It's frustrating to be completely honest. And I'm like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that hard, I guess. Too right. It should be pretty. You shouldn't, as a consumer, shouldn't have to struggle with that.
No, I know, if my Steel series ones aren't working, I'm like, I was probably an idiot and just hit the mute button. Right, and she turn off. And maybe
I have Sony Bluetooth headset, and sometimes I have the problem where the mic will work for a bit and then stop. So again, I don't know why that happens, but one of the first things I had to do when I got it was I had to update the firmware through a phone app. So wondering if there's needs to be there's firmware on your headset.
Yeah, I need to look into it, but that's other than that, like I think it's great.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm waiting to solve that problem before I have a full review of it, because I don't want to be like, it was, I didn't like this because it didn't work. And someone's like, did you update the firmware? And it's like, oh, well, sugar.
Right.
So I've got to figure out whether it's a user error or a technology error.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of headphones, are actually for me, they're the earbuds by the
EPOS, isn't it?
Not EPOS, but I have those, but the new ones that are coming out from
Genki.
Thank you. It was that they did a Kickstarter for.
Yeah.
I kickstarted that one, and I'm excited to get that one because they're the true wireless earbuds that are dual connect Bluetooth, where you can connect two Bluetooth devices to it at the same time, which I'm excited about. Plus it being, earbuds and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
The true wireless. So I'm excited
saw
to
that
get those and try those out.
I'm like, oh, this is a little bit more than I want to spend.
That was exactly it. I was like, yes, I am. Whoa, no, I am not in.
I'm
for that
doing
price.
it for the show. That's,
yeah, you can expense that back to us. Is that what you're doing there? I see you. I see what you're doing with your life. Justin, did you read the instructions? Ninfrendo asks. I have the instructions still here, Ninfrendo, and I've tried to figure them out. And they are primarily just images of buttons and people. So thank you, sir.
Yes. So as he's looking over his instructions, I'll go over the community spotlight. And this is pretty cool. This is one thing I wish I could have seen last week, or been a part of. But the contest that I think Marty launched, which was people will email their favorite indie game that doesn't have a physical release, but want it to be a physical release. But also keep in mind, it's got to be an indie game that Limited Run didn't do. So keep that in mind too. We'll send the list to Barry, and winner will be chosen, and they will win a physical copy of Rain on Your Parade plus levels and features DLC, the physical copy of that game. So right now we don't have a deadline in place, but keep them coming. We've got several great ideas. I just want to point out that I know I've seen a couple that did have limited runs for those games, so I don't think those will be able to count. But I mean, you can still submit them. It still counts as towards the contest, but as an actual idea for it to come for them to maybe work on, keep that in mind. So Jesse, you were a part of that. Do you remember, is there anything I missed?
I think you covered it. Yeah, I think so Marty was going to do the pre-order for the Rain on Your Parade on their on, I forget what company Barry works for, so sorry about that. So it's like
Platinum. Something.
It's like Limited Run Games, but it's a different company, and he expects it to be released premium in like 4 to 6 months. So, when Marty comes back, we'll set up a deadline date for final submissions, and then to give him time to aggregate all the responses and pick a winner.
It's premium edition games. Yes, premium edition games, right?
Mirage asks, has there been any update on the Nintendo Direct date? No. Hard no.
No. Yep. We're still waiting. We'll probably, if they do anything like they've done in the past, I don't think they would announce it for Friday. If it's going to come Tuesday, it'll probably be Monday. And they'll say something on Monday and we'll get it Wednesday probably, or something like that. So
they probably won't give more than a 48-hour notice, likely only 24.
Yeah. So it'll be announced on Monday, and it'll either be for Tuesday or Wednesday event. And then keep pushing it a day forward from there for either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday direct.
I think they've done that before too.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since they've done that. That would be funny. All right.
That would be probably the best scenario.
All right, let's talk about the Nintendo Dads family of podcast updates. We'll talk about the shows that we have in our umbrella of podcasts, such as Game Pass News, episode 57, Showcase Predictions, which I was a special guest on with those gentlemen, and we predicted games in the fashion of the same way that Justin did with the Nintendo Drive, where we scored it and to determine who would get points for the least likely or the thing to happen, I guess. So go check them out. Go listen to their show on any of your podcast feeds to listen to that one for what our predictions were for the Xbox showcase. Then Dad's After Dark show, they dropped episode 101, gearing up for Mario Strikers. They talk about completing coverage of the Strikers demo and talking about Dad's After Dark Club, which you can be a part of. If you're in our Discord, you can drop it in their channel for the Strikers Club. They also talk about TV Dads returns with Stranger Things, The Boys, and more. And you can also find the Dad's After Dark show on your favorite podcast feed. Retro Logic also has a few shows as well under their umbrella. They have their normal show, Retro Logic, which they dropped episode 81, and they talk about GBA mods, cheat codes, and why didn't the Dreamcast have 2 analog sticks? They also dropped episode 7 of On Topic Retro, where John talks with Sam, the third strongest mole, and the Nintendo pals about Gunstar Heroes. And then episode 25 of Retro Groove is their show about where they talk about mainly about music. It's an episode where Adam and Liam break down their favorite albums that have sold 25 million copies. So go take a listen to any of those shows that that basically touch on all different varying aspects of gaming or, like I said, music. So with that, let's move on to the questions from our community, which we've got a few. One from Ninfrendo. Do leaks ruin or help build excitement for developers? Gentlemen, what do you think?
For developers?
For developers.
I think, listen, if someone was excited about a game before, they're going to purchase the game. But I think for developers, they've put in so much time and energy that they want everyone to have that pop. They want to experience that. I think a great example today was the Last of Us Part 1 remake or whatever, that these people have worked really, really hard on this project. And then 4 hours before the official announcement, it gets leaked. It's just you want someone to be I'm sure these people want to watch live reactions, be yeah, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Right? That's yes, that's what people want. And the great example of it, our good friend Seth, he live streamed today his reaction to Summer Game Fest and his reaction to Neon White. And he was super excited. Seth is I'm so excited. Well, guess what? The developer saw that video clip and actually asked Seth for the clip and have put it in their montage.
That's awesome.
Because that's excitement. That's what people it's the Christmas Day thing. They want to see that, right? They want and so you don't want to ruin those surprises. So I think it definitely ruins it. And I think it ruins it also for us as gamers.
Yes.
Right. We want the pop. We want the excitement.
It's so frustrating because you lose that moment. For sure. Jesse.
I agree. Yeah, it'll get some headlines, it gets someone some tweets and some views on a YouTube channel, but ultimately it lessens the experience for everyone else. Whereas if everyone gets it all at the same time, then yeah, I agree with Justin on this one.
Woo!
Excellent. All right, moving on. We got our question of the week from Mecha Dragon, which is Robo Jesse is going on rampage and is out to destroy the world. What Nintendo character would the dads hire to help them save the day?
I think there's only one answer to this one.
Do it, Jesse. Do it.
Kirby.
Nice.
That's fair. It's a good answer.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Jesse on this one. Is also
Kirby. It is. Kirby will come and save the day.
If you remember at the start of the Smash Brothers thing where they revealed the big bad and they turned all of them into statues or figurines or whatever, Kirby is the only one who survived, which triggered the whole process of saving everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't remember if it was Akuma. Is that his name? You know, the guy who's throwing other people off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he threw Kirby, and Kirby was able to float to safety.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there you have it. We only had a couple questions this week, so that's fine because we had a loaded show with all the stuff that's going on with Summerfest. So that's a show. Justin, you want to close us out?
Sure. Let me just pull up that part of the document. I was so ill prepared
On the
buddy.
spot.
I know, right? Hey, yeah, folks, big thanks. Big thanks to Tim for sitting in that pocket, by the way, for getting us prepared. Jesse. Yes. Right on. Hey, big thanks to our amazing folks who are watching us over live on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Facebook. I greatly appreciate you being here. It helps keep our energy up, and we love you very much. Big thanks to all of our YouTube subscribers that you haven't. Go over, check out YouTube, and subscribe. By the way, if you're listening right now, we're giving away a copy of Mario Strikers in like an hour from now. Go over to our Twitter page right now. You can still enter to win a prize. You can still enter to win Mario Strikers. I will send you a digital copy or get it Amazon to your house. So do that right now. All right. Hey, don't forget, of course, our discount code of NINDADS, NINDADS at Manscaped for 20% off and free shipping and 15% off over at Gooder. If you're looking for some Nintendo Dads merch, head over to nintendodads.org/merch. We got that there. Big thanks to our amazing Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberg, Solo Something, Alexander Ocampo, and RJ Kern. Thank you so much. You are amazing. We love you being executive producers or Patreon producers. Top tier. Also, thank you to over the 100 individuals who support us over on Patreon. Thank you for all that you do for us. We greatly appreciate it as well. If you're looking for more Nintendo Dads content, you can go over to our website, nintendodads.org, or you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, kind of those places. We have a Nintendo Dads account. We'd greatly appreciate you visiting it, checking out our content as well. Hey, by the way, if you're interested, head over to your nearest podcast catcher of choice, Apple, Stitcher, Google Play, whatever that stuff is. We would absolutely love some 5-star reviews. I'm not going to lie to you. 5-star reviews would be awesome. We're kind of like falling down the Nintendo rankings in the podcast feeds. We'd love to get back up to the top again. If you could help us out, that'd be great. All you got to do is type in some words. Hey, if you're wanting to submit some questions or comments, head over to email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or leave us a message at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. That is actually where Marty Estes is right now. He's waiting at the phone lines for you to call right now. Big thanks to OC Remix for this amazing music. Big thanks to DJ Jesse for spinning the sweet Maestro Fresh West track. I absolutely love it. I appreciate you. And for myself, Tim and Jesse, be well, take care of each other, and have a fantastic week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Check you later, peeps.
This song is still a Canadian banger. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely still a Canadian banger. I love it.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Justin,
You both.